Hey, business building warrior. This is Jim, the host of Silent Sales Machine Radio. And if this is your first episode, let me fill you in on something. You can scroll back in time and listen to this podcast, many of which are audio only episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, go to silentjim.com and scroll back in time and hear dozens and dozens, at this point, actually hundreds of success stories that are very similar to the success story you're about to hear today. Today's guest is John Huang, originally from Vietnam, and he has built an incredible business along with his spouse. He works a job that keeps him busy for most of the working hours each week, but they've managed to build in 2021, they sold about $800,000 at about 38% net margin, which is phenomenal. And in 2022, as of the end of May, as I'm recording this, they are doing $70,000 to $80,000 per month, well on their way to going well over $1 million at around 28 to 30% net margin. Working again when he can fit it in, because he's got a full-time designer job as well. Now, his wife is going pretty full-time, but she's pregnant with her third child right now. They're another one of these families that's kind of squeezing this business into the gaps of their life where they can fit it. But it's just more evidence that the way we teach Amazon works. The REPLENS model that we teach in the Proven Amazon course simply works. Now, all the links and resources that you're going to hear mentioned on today's show are found in the show notes. You can go to silentjim.com, or if you're watching on YouTube, scroll down and look at the description of this video and you'll see links to all the different things we're going to talk about. Our coaching program at Jim Cockrum Coaching, our virtual assistant training program, where we train virtual assistants who work for a few dollars per hour in local currency. That's a lot of money. You're taking good care of them, and they help you build your Amazon business by finding profitable inventory for you, typically while you sleep. If you live in North America, most of our virtual assistants are in the Philippines. We train them to work just for you. We spend some time talking about that today. And although the couple you're about to meet, or at least you're going to meet John and Oliver, his oldest son, makes an appearance too towards the end of the episode. That was pretty fun. But he isn't using a virtual assistant yet. He and his wife are the team. They've got a friend that they're paying a few dollars per hour to help put some stuff in boxes. But that's the team, just them, doing $1 million with the Replan system that they learned through the Proven Amazon course. So I want to encourage you, if you're not quite a believer yet in this business model and it's how you can scale it. And check this out. I don't mention this often enough. There's a lot of other business opportunities that are out there, a lot of other hustle opportunities. You can sell on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. You've got these other things. I was on a trip and I met someone who's making decent money driving for Uber. The thing with a lot of those other business models, though, is you've got to show up and be there and do all the work. If you don't show up, the money stops. The Amazon Replens business, however, you can build a system. This can be systemized. You're not the one touching box tape. You're not the one sourcing products. You're not the one going to the store. You're not the one doing the things that need to be done. You don't have to do those things yourself. You can source online. You can source through wholesalers. You can use a prep partner. You can pay the lady across the street, the single mom who needs some extra work to do these things. No part of the business is complicated. There's no hard decisions to be made. There's no rolling the dice and hoping it works. It's research that anybody can do. It's putting stuff in boxes. Anybody can do that. It's shipping it in. Anybody can do that. These are the things that make up this business model. You can hire people to do those things for you. So when you're comparing this business to other opportunities, be sure to keep in mind, this one is one that can be scaled and automated. It can be systemized to the point where you're not the one doing the work. You're the one watching the numbers. It doesn't start that way, but it can get there very quickly. And that's some of the stuff that I coached our guest today, John, on how to do with his business, some of those next steps to take to get his business a little closer to that, because they are putting in significant hours as a family, and that's sustainable for a year or two or three, maybe. But after that, you want to have more of a stable schedule that allows you to turn everything off every day at about the same time, take the weekends off, that sort of thing. So I think that's a pretty good introduction. One other thing I want to make sure and point out, you'll probably hear it mentioned, we want you at our conference. I talked to John about it. They're about to have their third baby right around the time of our conference, so it probably won't work out for today's guest. They want to be there, but they can't probably make it. But what's your excuse? Hopefully you don't have one. We need you there. August 12th through 14th, Louisville, Kentucky, theprovenconference.com. It will benefit you tremendously, but it will benefit us as well because we're looking to grow this community. We want those new relationships, that new energy of new faces coming in. About 30 to 40% every year of the people who are there, they're fairly new to the community. So you're going to fit right in. And you've got the rest of us who've been around a while. We love getting together. It's like a family reunion that warmly welcomes the new visitors and the newcomers into the group. It's an experience unlike any other. And it's just so success-filled. I think you're going to struggle to find another group out there of e-commerce business building warriors that has as many success stories and as much consistent progress for its members than what we have here. So go check that out, the website, theprovenconference.com. With that long introduction, let's jump over and meet today's guest, Mr. John Huang. So John, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I can't wait to hear your story, man. Let's jump right in.
All right. So I started out in 2019, and basically I started out by just randomly found a sponsor ad on Facebook that say, hey, join us. We started out on Amazon just for $100, and now we are 7-figure sellers. So I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, the stuff that I bought on Amazon is not from Amazon. It's actually from third-party sellers. So I was intrigued, I always want to explore new things. I want to find new things to do, whether it be hustling or a full-time job, So I saw this ads and I was intrigued and I started following it for a couple of months. I met a lot of people. And one person said, hey, this is the great group, but hey, check out Jim's group and check out the pack course, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out because I don't want to put all my eggs into one basket.
Okay.
So I started.
So I'm following your story. You saw an ad on Facebook.
Yep.
For Amazon training in a different group, not this one.
Correct.
And someone in that group was talking about this group you're in now, our group, the podcast and the Proven Amazon course, the pack. I got you. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So thank you to that other group for sending you our way. That's great.
Yeah. So I still follow a lot of groups, but your group and the first group that I encountered, I still, on and off and learning a lot of stuff. But the other group is more towards beginners, like new sellers, and you're going to see a lot of repetitive questions. And I started signing up for your other group, your insider group, your 0 to 100K group, I believe.
Yeah, our private Replens Facebook group. And just for the listeners' sake, John, I'll explain that. I'll stick a link to everything we talk about in the show notes. But once you decide that you like the Amazon training that we have to offer, there's a private Replens group just for people who are doing the model versus those who are kind of considering the model or they're not sure, they have some beginner questions. That's a bigger group of about 70,000 people that is welcome to everybody and it's free. But the smaller group, there's a small monthly fee. But again, a link in the show notes to the private Replens Facebook group.
Yeah, that group is great. You have a lot of more advanced answer, and you can ask, pretty much anything above the newer group type of, like you yourself, you have a general group that helps everyone, but you kind of don't get that that extra help, extra helping hand that you need. That's how I feel about the private group, and it's not expensive. It's basically a cup of coffee a month. That's how much it's just affordable. And a
Yeah.
lot
They've
of
kept the
stuff.
price
Yeah.
really reasonable on that.
hmm Yeah. So I started out, following both groups, and then I started out, buying a lot of replant products in a no in a local area that's that I have time to go shopping after work. So I probably spent I should have spent a lot more time, but I probably spent, maybe 2 or 3, 4 hours the most after work, maybe once or twice a week. And I started doing it, and I see some results, but not like super great, like a lot of, profit. But then I kept doing it for um, two, 2 more months. After that, I started out stopping doing it because of COVID. When COVID made the news in 2020, about March-ish, February, March, that's when they started shutting everything down. And I started thinking to myself, I'm wanting another job because my wife, she works at a salon. So she's out, where we live. We live in Florida. So it's out until I think it was June or May-ish, around that time. And my wife was was pregnant on our second child.
Mm.
So after we after she was okay to go back, she was only 2 or 3 months until she's due. So we decided it's not good to go back to the environment, in that salon environment, and smelling all the chemicals and stuff like that. So we decided to, she decided to stay home, and then I was going to look for another job. Then I realized, wait a minute, I have Amazon. Well, if she doesn't have anything to do, she can start doing it. But then at the same time, we couldn't go shopping. It was
Right.
still a lot of areas that were shut down, not a lot of supplies. So we didn't think much of it. I still do sometimes, but I started working from home, and then everything was closed. So I stopped doing it. And then my cousin, she lives in Georgia. She's in the same boat. She's looking for something new to do, whatever. And I was like, hey, maybe you can do Amazon with us. Maybe I can teach you a few things that I've learned, over the last couple of months. And then she started doing it, and then I think her first month was like $6,000. Her second month was like $8,000, and I was thinking, what am I doing? I'm getting maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month, and then I just show her how to do things, and she goes out and do it, and that's my motivation. That's
So
my motivation.
so John, you taught your cousin the same stuff you'd learned,
Yep.
and she just worked harder than you did and went out and built something pretty fast.
Yeah,
The teacher
definitely.
passed the student in about 3 months.
Yeah,
That's
yep.
great.
Yeah, and she did great, and they did a really good job of finding stuff and stuff like that. So then I was thinking to myself, we need to, start hustling. And then that's when my wife, gave birth, and then in the beginning of the fourth quarter, that's when we started to, you know, Q4 is always interesting. It's always the best, like it doesn't matter how long you've been selling. Q4, you can always find stuff to sell. And over the years, like from 2019, 2020, I mean, I gained a little bit of profit, but I used all the profit to get ungated. Like whatever I I I gained, I spent it on ungating and Nike, Adidas, all the brands and all the categories. So when my wife first month started doing it, everything was ungated for it. It was nice. And then I think we had like 11K right off the bat. And then she did great. And then what was it, October, November, and maybe 2 weeks of December, we hit like, I think from 20 to like $40,000 in sales monthly.
Wow, that's great. So you're talking
Yeah.
2021 now?
This is 2020.
Still 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you guys seriously ramped up pretty quick. When you couldn't go to stores anymore, I guess you started sourcing online pretty fast.
No, that was in store. Because Florida opened up to the public, back from COVID
Yeah,
pretty
Florida
soon
opened up
compared to
early.
other states. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
So
we were
things were
able
shut
to
down
find it.
for
Yeah.
maybe, what, 3-4 months maybe, and then as you
Yeah.
got into late summer into the fall of 2020, you started going
Mm-hmm.
back out and having, you
Mm-hmm.
said $20,000 to $40,000 months by the end of the year.
Per month, I think September was like 11,000, 12,000, something like that. September, October, it was about 15-ish, and then it ran up to like 20 the next month, and then we ended up from November to December. That was our best month, which was like, I think like
That's great.
40,000 or something. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
Congratulations, man. That was
yeah,
a good first year, kind of ramping
yeah.
into it slowly and then really took off. So what were do
Mm-hmm.
you happen to remember what your net margins are? We always like to mention that when we're talking numbers
Uh-huh.
so people have a point of context.
I don't have one for 2020, but I did look up for 2021, and then from 2022 to now. So 2021, we did from inventory lab, of course, show that we had about 38% ish ROI. But I think my wife said that it's a little bit lower than that.
Are you talking net profit probably?
Yeah, net profit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not because ROI would be considerably higher than that. I'm typically it'd be like
yeah.
60 would be the minimum ROI we
Correct.
expect to see. So about
Yeah,
38% net is actually pretty decent.
yeah,
That's high. That's good. It sounds like you're
yeah.
pretty picky about the inventory you buy.
Correct. Yeah, we did a little bit different than other people. Other people would be like, "Hey, how much is your ROI? How much is your net profit?" We don't go by that. We go by if I can make, because we don't buy stuff that are expensive yet. I mean, we have some inventory that are in the hundreds and sometimes even in the 200s. But our main stuff that we bought from just 3 or 4 local stores, they are typically under $20. So we want to make at least $5 profit, per item. So if there's a stuff that are $3 to $5 profit, but if there's a lot of them, we'll take it. But if there's like
Gotcha.
1 or 2 odds and end, we don't usually take in just $3 profit. We're trying to aim around $5 profit.
Gotcha.
So just in case, when it hit Amazon price tank, we still make some money.
Yeah.
If you go $3, you okay, I'm happy with $3, and you go in there, and then Amazon tank, you either sell it even or loss. So we trying to keep that $5 profit, around $5 profit when we source our products.
Yeah. Minimum 5.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So what was do you happen to know your total sales for 2021? That would be your first full year of doing this,
Yes.
kind of knowing what you're doing.
Yes. I don't have the exact number, but it was in the $800,000.
Nice. So
Yeah.
800K at around 35, 38%, it sounds like net profit margin. That's not too bad, man. That's like
that's pretty
$250,000.
nice.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So before, when I started Amazon, my wife wasn't really supportive because she's busy. She goes to work, she has kids to take care of, and I don't blame her. It's my side hustle. So I should have worked hard. So tip for the beginners, work hard. Don't if you treat it as a side hustle, it's gonna be a side hustle forever.
Yeah.
You're gonna treat it as a business, it's gonna be a business. And then you're gonna treat it as a full time, it's gonna be a full time.
Yep.
So it depends on how you treat it. You're gonna be successful based on how you treat it. And my wife was wasn't, a follower until she sees, the profit in, September, which was 11K or something.
Right.
In sales. So she started to believe, and she started helping me. She started buying it. She started doing everything, and I just, and we did everything together. Now it's great.
So let's talk through your process. I want to talk a little bit about what's happened so far in 2022 as well. But first, I want to hear a bit of your process. How are you finding product? What tools are you using? That sort of thing. How often do you find a winning replan? Did you have to search 3 hours to find a winner, or are you finding, several a day? Talk me through some of those details.
Okay. So for the tools that we use, obviously we use Keepa. That's whoever, sell stuff on Amazon or even eBay, use Keepa. Keepa will tell you how much eBay roughly, go for with that UPC. Sometimes you get an idea of how much they go for, and same thing with Amazon. Amazon is a little bit more detailed than eBay, but Amazon will tell you the pricing history. So I taught one of my friends to do this as well, and I said, hey, go get Keepa. Don't even ask me why. Just go get Keepa.
Trust me, get Keepa.
Yeah.
And what I always say, John, too, is go listen to podcast episode 369. It is a must listen episode. It'll explain why we're so excited about Keepa, what that tool does that no other tool can do, even if it wanted to, why that is. So yeah, that's good.
Yep. So we use Keepa, and of course we use Inventory Lab, just to help us, streamline, listing the products a little bit more easier. And then after a while, after maybe a month or so of starting the Amazon business, I started out using Repricer right away, even though I should have more inventory, but using the Repricer will help you sell stuff a lot quicker. And then after that, it's just going on to what repricer that you want to use. I mean, there are several. There are pros and cons for everything. So most of them have a month free. So you're not going to lose anything. So you just go there and then you find out, which repricer that you use the most or you like the most, what fits your business. Yeah. And then you just use it.
Which one are you guys using out of curiosity? Our team has like 5 that are popular. And like you said, it is a preference thing, but which one do you happen to be using?
We started out using Aura. Aura is great for beginners, about maybe up to maybe $30,000 a month-ish in sales. That's what I was told, and that's what based on our experience is a great tool for beginners. It's not too expensive, but it's the only thing that I don't really like about Aura is that eventually you're gonna race to the bottom. You know what I mean? If you don't set up your repricer correctly, you may undercutting just 1 cent, and then you're gonna race to the bottom a little bit quicker. Because Aura uses the lower end of the buy box. It doesn't use a higher end of the buy box. And I heard PPP, which is protector. What was it?
Profit Protector Pro.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. Yes. Yep. That's the one, and it came out recently, maybe a few months, and it has an AI feature. I heard it's really good. I heard it's not too bad. It's a little bit better than what Aura is. But the only thing is that it doesn't have Inventory Lab integration. So you would have to export, your Inventory Lab stuff to an Excel and upload it, which is not an ideal. But after we use Aura, we switched to Seller Snap. Seller Snap is a little bit more expensive, but they do give us, a month free and to try it out. And when we try it out, it's, even though it costs a lot, it's help us streamline repricing our products a lot easier. I used to be a programmer, and I can go in there and I do this if this happens. So it's not
Right.
hard.
Your if
Yeah.
then statements, or if and or.
Correct.
Yeah, you can get.
Yes.
Yeah, Be Cool, which is the one we use, has a lot of that
Mhm.
AI built in as well, and inventory lab
Mhm.
integration. So we're kind of off into the nerdy weeds of repricers, but
Mhm.
there's some good ones out there for sure. What you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want is a repricer that just says, "Hey, I want to be the lowest price under all
Yeah.
circumstances."
Don't want that. Don't want.
And that's a disaster. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Actually, when you're pricing, my advice usually is you never want to be the lowest FBA price, I should
Mhm.
say. Never be the lowest FBA price. There's never a
Yeah.
reason to
Mhm.
be. You can
Mhm.
possibly match the other lowest FBA price, but there's no
Mhm.
reason to be the lowest because you're just inviting a
Mhm.
price war at that point. Unless you're
Mhm.
trying to truly sell out of and liquidate a product for some reason you're done with.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, repricers can really streamline. So did you find Seller Snap? Has it helped you out? When did you start using it?
We started using it. I subscribed 1 month. I mean, 1 year for in maybe September-ish of 2020. And right after we went past 30,000, I tried out Seller Snap, and I've been using it since. So that was about February-ish, 2021.
Okay, over a
And
year, well over a year,
yep,
15
yep.
months or so. Cool. Okay,
And
so
they and yeah,
you've got it
and
figured
they
out.
do, yeah, and they do have like a starter, you know, pricer for newer sellers that don't have a lot of inventory, which is like $1,000 less ASIN or something. It's cheap. It's cheaper, but it's not cheap. But
Yeah.
we try it out, we love it, and we stuck with it.
I'll reach out to them, see maybe we can get a discount for our listeners. I'll stick a link in the show notes and see what
Definitely.
they can do
Okay.
for us because we have a good number of listeners on the show. Maybe some folks
Mm-hmm.
can let us know what they think. Sounds like you guys really like them. So
Mm-hmm.
your repricer, and let me just explain for anyone who's brand new, what's a repricer? Why do I need one of those? The model that we teach, the REPLENS model, means you're going to be selling a whole bunch of products, a few units of a whole bunch of different products. And rather than manually keeping an eye on the price on all of them to maximize your sell through and your revenue, you can get what's called a repricer. There's several of them. We've talked with John about a few of them. And that will automatically, based on the parameters that you set up, price to maximize your revenue. Sometimes that means lowering the price so you can win more sales. Sometimes that means raising the price so you can get more revenue. If your competition kind of drifts out of the picture, there's no need for you to be the lowest price by $10. Hey, jump up into the pack with the other sellers with your pricing. So you can do that automatically with a good repricer. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that's great. So you're using a repricer. That's one of the things you're doing. How are you finding this inventory? Like, what's your process? You told us some of the tools: Keepa, Inventory Lab, your repricer. What's your process though for finding new ASINs and finding new products that you can sell with the Replen system?
So the replan system, I did not know anything about a replan system until, of course, I went to your group, and I started listening to your broadcast, when I was still working, and I started to realize you don't actually have to find a replanable product, or know that you're selling, knowing that you have replanable products. You just realize that, hey, is if I find some, let's say if I found a hat and it's been selling, I'm going back to get more hats. That's replanable.
Yeah,
That's replenishing, inventory. That's what it is.
exactly.
It doesn't. Yeah. So it's, we go to the stores, just our local stores, and we pretty much pick up whatever we've sold in the past, and then we spend maybe half an hour ish scanning new products, in the store. And half the time we find replanable products that are, next time if it sells, we come back and we'll pick it up. The only downside about this is that when you do an RA, there's a lot not a lot, but like the stuff that we sell, um, come in and out of stock easier and faster. But if you were to do, groceries, stuff like that, there's gonna be a lot, abundant of them out there. I mean, more than what we, uh, you know, selling currently.
Yeah. How many ASINs do you guys sell against currently? How many listings?
Um, right now it's about a little bit over $1,000. I mean, 1,000 ASIN, maybe
A
like
thousand ASINs.
1,100, 100, yeah, 1,100 to like 1,300. That's how many we sell, and we sell them out quick, and then we
Yeah.
don't even have time to come back and get them. That's how quick they sell. So
And how big is your team? How many of you are running the business?
just me and my wife and a helper.
That's
We
amazing.
hire, we hire a helper to help us pack, because we don't have time to pack all of that. So when you reach about, it's not a tip, like if you reach about 30 to $40,000 in sales, you might want to hire someone to help you pack.
Yeah, that can be very tedious. I completely agree. That's the
Hmm.
part I like the least. Some people love it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I don't either. It's basically it's a $10 job. It's not, fun.
What do
It's
you pay your helper?
$10.
10? Yeah. And they do
Yeah.
a good job for you?
Oh, she does a great job. She's actually an international student, so
Okay.
she can't work. So we hire her to help out. So she doesn't have to pay tax. It works out for both sides. So if that's another story, but I don't want to get into the legal system here. But
Yeah,
that's
no, I
it works
completely get
for.
it. You found some good help. We'll leave it at
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
So you guys are finding all your own ASINs. You don't have a virtual assistant to do the ASIN research?
We do not at the moment, but
Wow. We could change your life, man.
yeah, yeah. I read a lot of stuff about it. I just we I still work part time, because of my design job. I love that job.
Wait, now, what do
So
you do? You didn't tell us yet.
I'm sorry. I am right now. I'm a graphic designer. I
Okay.
do a lot of design for multi-family commercials, um, signage for a company, and I just love designing. So I kept my skill. That's my skill set. So I kept it up um, in the morning. From
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. And then after that, I help my wife running doing Amazon stuff.
Wow. Okay. So a couple observations. It's very unusual to have like the artistic, left-brained designer
Hmm.
combined with, you mentioned earlier, the programming kind of logic,
Hmm.
right-brained. That's an
Yeah,
unusual
yeah,
mix. You're going
yeah.
to tell me you play a music instrument too, aren't you? Are you one of those guys?
Yeah, I used to.
And you're
I,
athletic, right? You've got a
yeah,
sport too, right? You're one of those guys,
yep.
aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like a mix. Like before, when I talk to you, I'm very. I always want to learn new things, and I
Yeah,
keep that new things, and I keep that throughout my life. So whatever I want to learn, like I learn, and I try to do it as the best as I could. So I started out, I mean, this is probably going back to the beginning of introduction, but I started out as a programmer in high school. I also started, graphic designing in high school. And then I joined the military, came out still being a designer. And I learned a lot of things in the military. And in the past, became a mechanic. I became infantry. I became, field artillery is everything. Like I learned a lot of stuff, throughout the years. And I just stuck with it. Whatever I learned, I obviously I had to like it to start to learning it. So when I started learning it, I just kept it with me. It's awesome.
that's
It's great.
phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. So I
That's
can't really
phenomenal.
let go. Yeah.
Yeah, well, good for you.
Hmm.
It's seriously, man. I'm impressed. It's a rare person that can, most people who do a little bit of everything aren't good at anything, but it sounds like you're capable and you go all in when you start to tackle something new, and you're doing
Correct.
really well with it.
Yeah.
So that's congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. So on the what was I going to ask? The number of hours you work per week. That's the other thing, because you still have a part-time designer job.
Yeah.
And you work that until after lunch every day. Is that correct? So you've only got the remaining time. So how many hours a week are you and your wife putting into your Amazon business to achieve pretty significant results?
Yeah. We do work hard. My wife works hard as well. It's funny how a lot of people quit their 9 to 5, not to work from 9 to 5, basically work 24 hours a day. So, by the time you wake up, you start working, and by the time you go to sleep, you stop working. So, my wife, wakes up early in the morning, around 7 or 8. I wake up early as well, and we started to do whatever we do. We started bringing our son to school, pick him up, after school activities and all that stuff, and whatever's left over, whatever we have time, it goes to the business. So you gotta keep working hard. Sometimes we go to sleep at 11, 12 o'clock, and then we wake up sometimes 6, 7 o'clock, and we start doing it every day, except for weekends, and we actually dedicated the time. This is the amazing thing about this business, is that you can set your schedule, and then have time, because time with family is very important to me and to our family. So you can't work 7 days a week. Your kids is going to be glued to their Nintendo Switch or PlayStation until they graduate. So we don't want that. We bring them out, every day after they get home from school, just for a couple of hours, and then go back to work, and they can do whatever they want. They get ready for bed, eat, stuff like that. And then the weekend, we just spend time with them. Sometimes we do shopping. Sometimes we bring them to the park. Let's say, go to Tampa, go shopping, or not go shopping, but we go to the park or something. And then we just hey, let's go to the store. We stop by the store, sourcing for like an hour or two, bring them with whatever they want to buy, toys, whatever. We buy it for them. And then we always come home with inventory, So basically you don't stop working, because if you stop feeding the beast, it's gonna stop selling. You're gonna run out of stuff to sell, because we do aim our products are selling within the first month. So we sell a lot of stuff. If it doesn't sell in the first month, we gotta take a look at it and figure it out why it's not selling and stuff like that.
That's a good parameter to have with this model. If it's not selling at least 1 unit per month, there's something wrong with that product. Take a look. You've got to you misread the Keepa chart. You priced it too high. Yeah, if it's been a month since you've sold your product, take a good hard look at it and adjust your strategy. That's good for sure. Hey, quick interruption. We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but I want to make sure you know about the Proven Conference coming up August 12th through 14th, 2022 in Louisville, Kentucky. Join hundreds of your fellow business building warriors, the same people who listen to this podcast, the successful students you've heard interviewed, the coaches on our team. There's over 60 of them. We're all going to go, hundreds of us, to Louisville, Kentucky, August 12th through 14th. We want you there. Come hang out, be a part of this incredible community. We've done this several times in the past. It gets better every single time. It's unlike any other conference you've ever been to, because the stage and all the breakout sessions are comprised of the great leaders and students from our own community. We don't bring in outside experts that you could go watch on YouTube anytime you want. No, we are putting on stage the people that you'd love to meet face to face. It's an event unlike any you've ever attended. It will change your life. August 12th through 14th, 2022 in Louisville, Kentucky. See theprovenconference.com for details. theprovenconference.com. There's a link in the show notes as well. Okay, let's get back to the program. Yeah, if it's been a month since you've sold your product, take a good hard look at it and adjust your strategy. That's good for sure. Well, you guys are have you ever heard me talk, John, about that period of intense focused effort when you're launching a business? You ever heard that concept before? intense focused effort? Do you know what I mean by that?
Not really,
I mean, you
but
can kind of
I have,
guess, I would imagine,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not, the thing about intense focused effort is it's not sustainable. You guys are taking weekends off, and
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. I would beat you up if you weren't, because you have to do that to stay sane.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I would propose that based on what I'm hearing you say, you could bring in another virtual assistant, maybe two, and dramatically change your schedule and your flexibility and maintain the growth that your
Mm-hmm.
trajectory that you're on. Maintain it, if not
Mm-hmm.
exceed,
Mm-hmm.
because your mental, emotional, physical energy. Now you can do what you're doing now, and that's sustainable for another year or two. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know your health and your commitment level to that, but I'm just saying I've seen people do that. But eventually, this, working every waking hour and just carving out the minimal time for other things, that will start to wear you down a little bit. And you
Yeah.
could get to where, it's you're putting in 8-hour days and taking off the weekends, and you're still building, or maybe even less than that, fewer hours
Mm-hmm.
than that. You're building a team out. I think that's the next step for you guys. If I could slip into coaching mode a little bit, because we have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people who have done just that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got someone else sourcing, someone shopping, someone prepping.
Yep.
They're just
Yep.
kind of managing the numbers, managing the business. Because no part of
Yeah.
this, as you now know, is overly complex, really.
Mm-hmm.
You can have other people
Yeah.
doing these different pieces.
Yeah.
It's an
Yep.
encouragement for you.
Yep. Yeah. I listened to your broadcast, and I've heard you said that not several times, but a lot of times. So we just haven't had the time to do research and to find a VA to even get help. We are planning on to move on to that next actual, to the next level to help us, expand our business or to grow, a little bit more,
Yeah.
so that we have
Building
a lot.
systems,
Yeah. Yeah.
and automating,
Yep.
documenting the
Mm-hmm.
process and passing it off to someone else. You've heard about our
Mm-hmm.
proven REPLENS VA program, haven't you, at this point, or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that'd be something for you guys to look into. You can either train your own virtual assistant, or we can train one for you. That's the basic breakdown. For those who don't know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about, we'll train a
Mm-hmm.
virtual assistant to source products the way John's describing, the way our system teaches. They do that part for you. So they're finding the products based on your parameters in stores, online, that sort of thing. They're working from the Philippines for $4 an hour. That's their full-time
Mm-hmm.
job. You wake up every day, you got a list of great new basins based on either pictures you send them from store shelves near you, or online sources that they discover or that you discover.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty slick program. We're very
Mm-hmm.
proud of the results our students are getting with that so far. But yeah, that sort of thing where you've got someone else handling the, whatever is taking up your time, someone else
Mm-hmm.
could be doing just about any part of it for around $4 an hour. The only part
Mm-hmm.
someone can't do for you that cheap is packing the boxes. Typically, you're going to pay a little more than that because it's
Mm-hmm.
US based prep, and you're not going to find anybody willing to work for $4 an hour in the US.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But in the Philippines, that's a lot of money. And so we teach our students to take advantage of that fact. But, and by the way, thank you for your service too. We kind of cruised through that part of your story.
Yeah. No problem. Is it's part of what, my journey to become, a better human, I should say. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm always,
it's much appreciated. I come from a long line of military service in our family, and I always deeply appreciate it.
Thank you.
So what else do you want to talk about? What else could you share with us? We haven't talked about 2022 yet, because as we're recording this, we're coming up on the summer of 2022. So we've got a good few months here that we could talk about. You hit 800,000 approximately last year at a really healthy net margin. How are we looking for this year?
So this year is great. My wife also is expecting again, and so we.
So which one? How many is this now?
This one is the third one.
Number 3 on the way. Congratulations!
Yeah.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you. And he does come out 2 years ahead of our schedule. So we weren't we weren't expecting. We were going hard this year and next year. And then, but
2 years ahead of schedule. I love it. Yeah, God had other plans, man.
Yeah, but the cool thing is that God, we believe in God. Like everything has a plan. He has a plan for us. Um, even when we go sourcing, I started sourcing when we have our first child, and then whatever I found is basically based on his needs. For example, we go to the store, we buy clothes for him, and when we just scan it.
That section, the section that you're in is where you're sourcing because you got to be there anyway, right? I love it.
Yep, and just scan it, and who knows, and that's how we found out a lot of our Replan products is from that section, that baby section. Clothing, stuff like that is right there in front of you. You just gotta find your niche. Like there was a broadcast that you I think interviewed somebody, and she always find new niche category after every pregnancy. Do you remember that?
I don't. There's been 480 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one though.
Yeah. So that's the one that we kind of like our situation. So if you have a hobby, if you have anything that's related to whatever that you do in your personal life, go to that niche. That's your best. You have the most knowledge about it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of stuff about it. Just go find it. If you like breeding fish, find pet store. Go find products that are profitable. Filter stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have babies, baby clothes. If you like cars, car parts. Stuff like that. So it's everywhere. Like, a lot of people asking us, "Hey, what do you sell?" Well, we sell everything that's given us a profit. Anything
that's profitable, right?
Yeah.
So, as much as I like that advice, John, I have to point out that 95% of the items that we sell are things that I would never buy. I know either nothing or virtually nothing about, and I certainly wouldn't eat it if it's a food. 95% of the time, like, what is this? I don't even know what it is. And like, there's no English on the box. One of our products, like, it's some kind of tea. I think I've never opened one, right? But I just know that it's a profitable ASIN. So but starting somewhere in the part of the store where you're familiar, at least you can recognize the unusual, the kind of niche objects. But then again, a lot of times it's the most popular items that are ones that are easiest to sell for a profit. So it really doesn't hurt to start anywhere. But if you got to go to that part of the store anyway, because your baby needs these things, hey, might as well look up a few items on Keepa while you're there. You mentioned scanning barcodes. The one reason it's not that it's a bad idea, but it lowers the number of results you're going to see versus typing in the brand name. I'm assuming you guys do some brand name type searches as well, correct?
Yes, that's where we found a lot of our Replan products from. We don't find it much when we scan. We only scan to like check just a habit. But I think 80% of the time if we find like something new on the shelf, we obviously we scan it first, and then we go back into Amazon app, and then we just look it up, look at the pictures. If we find something close, go down to the variation list. Sometimes you might not even see the product, but you see similar product 9 out of 10 times it might be under the variation, and it helps you find it a lot quicker.
Right. I just had an image as we were talking about scanning barcodes versus typing in brand names and doing some of the other more advanced search strategies that we teach. It's kind of like fishing with one hook and one line versus fishing with a big boat and a huge net that you're dragging. It's like, you're going to get so much more opportunity, so much more quickly.
Yep.
With the bigger strategy.
Yep. And often the time that it gives you a mental note of, obviously when you find something, when you look up a name of something, you see other products that are similar to that. So you kind of catch on really quick of like we can go down to the store, go down to the aisle, and we know exactly what to pick up and what to scan. It just naturally come to us after doing it for so long that we just know
So tell me
exactly
about one of your favorite ASINs. Don't tell us exactly what it is. Don't give it away. We're not looking to give you 1,000 competitors. But what part of the store was it in? What'd you pay for it? What's it selling for? Something that's been doing well for you for a while now. Just give us an example of a good replen. That would like one of your most exciting ones.
The most excited, I would say, I do love it when Kohl's have the 40% off sales.
Mm.
It's amazing. We buy a lot of expensive item there. Usually it costs about 200 something, but it sells within the week. It depends on how much that you can find.
It's a good
We
tip.
can, yeah, it can't because of the cold cash and then the rebate from Rakuten and your credit card, all of that it kind of helps. Even though you may be making, let's say, $20 on a $200 item, you forgot about all the other parts that eventually is gonna, you spend 200, you get 100 back, basically. So
Yes.
it helps. Yeah, it if you don't do a lot of online stuff, you kind of miss that rebate. That rebate stuff is awesome. It almost paid for someone's salary if you count it in all the rebates, all the cash, all the cold cash, and all the.
That's a great tip. A lot of stores do that. They'll have the big, I think it's Target. You mentioned Kohl's. I know Target has their big, I think it's 20 or 25% off anything and everything coupon that's, once a year or something. And so you pay attention to when those big sales happen. You go in, go after some of the more expensive items, pay full retail price. But there's enough margin now there where you're selling this $200 item. Like you said, you're making $20 initially, maybe after all fees and expenses, but you're stacking the credit card points or, the other additional coupons and rebates that you get. Right. So that's a great tip.
Yeah. And it does sell, like it will sell out within days, not days, but like a day at least, like my UPS come in and drop them off and then he picks them up the next day.
Right. Right.
So it's that it's been selling, that it's replanable. You just don't get to buy them more often than you want to because usually it's a 1-day sale, 40% off. So
right. Do you have any boring replens that have just been consistent performers for you?
Yeah, we do. Toys. I want to say one of the items is toys. Basically, it's sellable, but when Amazon is in stock, it's not sellable. I mean, it's not profitable. And then you got to wait for Amazon. I mean, Amazon come in and out often. So we were fortunate that it come in and out often. When it's out, then we sell. When they're not out, then hopefully we sell from on eBay or Facebook Market or something like that. It's boring, but it's money, like you still make $3 or $4.
The worst case scenario is you're making a few dollars, but I love those ASINs where Amazon is selling out for a few days at a time every month or so. And you just kind of sit there and wait, and they're getting 99% of the sales until they sell out. And then all the FBA sellers have been patient. Their inventory just flies. It's one of the benefits of jumping on the really popular listings on Amazon. You get into some of those listings where it looks like Amazon's dominating and there's 50 other sellers. Well, you can make money there jumping into the middle of the price pack and just waiting. You're not waiting 6 months. You're waiting a few weeks. And if it doesn't sell within a few weeks, drop the price, take your money back, and maybe you'll lose a few dollars. But start playing in some of those high-paced, fast-moving ASINs, even if Amazon's all over it, because you can tell by looking at a Keepa chart where those gaps are, where Amazon isn't. So tip for those who are, and there's going to be some great stuff in those fast-moving ASINs. Well, any other tips or strategies that you want to share? Hey, there's a peek. Who is that we're seeing? That's all right. We can.
That's our first one is Oliver.
Oliver. Hey, Oliver. How are you doing,
hi.
buddy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Good smile.
So he just
Oliver's
wake
playing
up from
chess.
his from his nap. So he's
That's
shy
great.
when he sees people, but when he's not, then he's very energetic. He won't stop talking.
Yeah.
He's a handful for sure.
Oh,
But
he looks like a perfect kid from this angle. Good to meet you,
yeah.
Oliver. Hey, it's a family show, man. We love seeing the kids. They always steal
Hmm.
the show, no matter how they show up.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
great. A lot of times it's my kids walking through the door. They're not that small anymore, though. But
Yeah.
yeah, as we start to wrap up, though, what other tips or strategies, anything you want to share with the listeners, the audience, say that
Hmm.
anything you had on your mind?
Yeah. Procrastination. Don't procrastinate. I was the same thing. I I always wanted make sure I have enough proof that is to do something, to do it. Just just do it. Just go out there, try to do it. You love it because you're not gonna do stuff that you don't like. So when you go down that path, just do it 100%.
Commit
Just
to it.
focus. Yep, commit to it, and you're gonna see results right away when you commit. And it's hardly. I mean, from my experience, I don't I don't think I fail a lot from committing. I fail from not committing. So
Yes. That analysis paralysis, right? Analyzing
mhm.
and studying and
Mhm.
considering versus just acting, doing,
Yeah, yep.
jump in, go
Always,
for it.
always do something and just just do it. And then if you go out there scanning products, if you don't see something, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Like if you see something, you you go down the rabbit hole. You trying to find something similar to that. It's gonna lead you maybe even to like a different category. But because from that item, if you look down, for example, baby clothes, for example, if you don't find a baby clothes profitable, well, look next to you. You're gonna see baby bottles, you're gonna see, you know, toddler stuff.
Mhm.
And then you go down the aisle, you're gonna see men's stuff. Just go down that rabbit hole, just go down to the aisle and you're gonna see a lot more profitable products. And also don't give up. Don't give up on, hey, I can't find anything from this store. No, you're gonna find something. You just didn't look hard enough. There are many places that are misplaced. For example, that's where we find out our products the most. Also, if you have kids and always be like, oh, I have kids, I can't do that. Bring them with. My son Oliver right here,
Yep.
he found me repentable products. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, you saw this before. Here you go. It's in a totally different space, different place, and and some place that we would never see. But he's short, so he can see a lot of stuff down there
That's so
that
great.
are
And he's
different.
helping you
Yeah.
on your business. Those are going to be some of his fondest childhood memories is helping mom and
Hmm.
dad in their business and
Yep.
the valuable
Hmm.
lessons that he's learning. Some of
Yeah.
the best education you can give your kid is to help
Yeah.
let them be part of the family business. That's
Hmm.
beautiful. Well, hey,
Yeah.
we forgot to hit a couple things. I'd
Hmm.
like to hear what your goals are for 2022 and how's 2022 going so far. We haven't named the numbers yet. You said it was going great, but we haven't hit on those numbers yet.
2022 is been we 2021 we consistently making about $60,000 in sales monthly, except for Q4. Q4 just double, triple
Exploded.
that, but
Yeah.
it's nice. But in 2020, the way that we're going, we are bringing around $70,000 to $80,000 a month in gross sales. So for this year, I would like before Q4 hits, like you say, find a VA, find extra hand, find extra um, way to bring in more products, because we are tied up. Like we don't have any more time to
Right.
focus on business. So we gotta get help.
Yes.
And if we didn't have that helper to help us pack, we would never be here today. So that's my part of procrastinate is not getting a VA sooner. Getting extra help, getting just help in general to expand, to make your business grow.
Yeah. Get a trained shopper, get a trained sourcer.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the sourcer comes first because you always hire people who generate revenue when you can versus someone who creates convenience.
Yep.
Get a sourcer in there, and now you can get someone who does the shopping, clicks the buttons, and puts the credit card number in, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff can be done. Someone who drives around town, if that's what's required, and spend some time working on your business versus in your business. You'll be shocked how fast you step back and breathe fresh air and just watch the system run. It's a beautiful model. That's great. So you're aiming for, I mean, it's realistic. You guys could hit $1 million if you had thought of that number for this year.
We actually hit $1 million in the last 12 months.
The 12 rolling months. So I think you easily hit 2022, hit $1 million then, right?
I believe so. Yeah, we are planning on getting past $1 million for just this year alone.
Yeah,
because it's been great. It's not going down. The way the economy is right now is I don't think it'll go down for us. It's gonna keep improving, and then finding a VA, finding extra helpers, shoppers, stuff like that. It's gonna be, I think we're gonna do well in 2022.
That's phenomenal. Do you happen to know what your net profit is for 2022 so far? Inventory Lab.
For 2020, Inventory Lab only shows about 28% right now ish. But my wife, I told her enter stuff in Inventory Lab. She doesn't do it. She finds some stuff on when she goes shopping, she enters in Amazon app, so it doesn't get recorded. And a lot of stuff that she sells doing that sells right away. So
right. There's some missing margin there perhaps, but still 30%. You mentioned earlier 35 to 38%, something like that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And scaling this out. So even if that is on the low end, and let's say it's accurate, but $300,000 net profit margin business, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. And the thing about like I mentioned before, I don't know if I mentioned to you before, but for us, we only take out what we need. Like if, for example, if we need to buy a house, we want to get prepared for that. How much does it cost? We want to prepare for that. We don't take any more or any less. We put everything back into the business so that it can expand. It can grow. We don't need $100,000 in our bank. It's just sitting there. We're not making any profit. Yeah. So we put in the business.
One of my mentors said he often is asked the question, what's the best thing to do with the money, the excess money that's been generated by my business that I don't personally need? Now I could go buy stuff I want, but assuming that I'm not going to go spend it all on stuff I want. So I'm living a good life. I've got the things that my family needs. I got a few nice things, take a nice vacation, but we're accumulating some cash. What's the best thing to do with that cash? Create more opportunity by putting it back into your business. That's the best thing to do with it. Whatever it took to get you there, scale it up. Go to that next level of leadership, create opportunities for other employees, for people to work for you, right? That's what you do with it. That's great use. So it sounds like that's the path you guys are on.
Yeah, or you can just venture into a different business,
Absolutely. Real estate, another business opportunity.
Yep. Shipping business. My wife and I started a shipping business to our home country, and since we have UPS guys picking it up, anyways, there you go. Just pick it up, and we don't. It requires basically no funding. People just come to us, and we just have UPS pick it up, and we just that's on our other business. So it's kind of cool to. Talk
me through that business model. You said you have a shipping company. Help me understand describe what you're talking about.
So we ship stuff back to our country, which is Vietnam, for other people's relatives, for example. So we just we partner with a different bigger shipping company. So we basically almost like the middleman. Basically, we accept all the goods and all that stuff. We make
you
sure
got
we
your own
put
little
in the computer.
Vietnamese UPS going for your friends and family. Is it all people near you geographically, or is it bigger than
not
that?
really. Yeah, I mean, like if everyone here, but also we accept people from out of state, because from word to mouth, you know how it is. People say, hey, we know this person can ship stuff home. They can buy stuff from home. It's fast and stuff like
so you're
that.
like an aggregator? Do you like get a crate at a time or a pallet at a time kind of thing? Is that how you're doing it?
No. We actually we only accept whatever they want. They say, Jim, you want to ship something back to your family, and we usually just come to me, and then you pay for how much it weighs, how much it costs, and then that's it. You pay, and then I schedule the UPS guy to pick up your package. I monitor, I make everything easier, because you can't really go to USPS and ship like a package home internationally. It's expensive. It's very expensive, and it's hard. So we just we have a shipping business just to help with that. I mean, we don't make a lot, but it's free money. Like we're not giving, we're not we're not spending money for that business.
It sounds like you have some connections too in Vietnam, where maybe you could get a hold of some products that are a little harder to get a hold of in the US. And sell those online as well. You've probably researched that a bit, huh?
Yeah, I did look through it, but Vietnam is not. The first batch is going to be great, right? It's going to be great, 100%, whatever it is. And the second batch, third batch, fourth batch, it's just going downhill, because that's how they operate.
China has that reputation as well.
Yeah. So it's really hard to trust somebody, but that is one of our, plan for 2022 is to find, a manufacturer and then just to help us source, because we can have people, our family in Vietnam that are interested in, like you say, $4, $5 an hour, which is a lot, like, just to help us out. And we just give it back, to help our family and all that stuff. So it is definitely something on our mind, but for the time being, whatever you can think of, whatever you are capable of, just do it. Don't procrastinate and expand. Not if you don't expand with your Amazon business, eventually something else. You're gonna find a lot of opportunities, I should say, around us. That's the land of opportunity. Is like we love it here. We love Tampa, stuff like that. So it's an opportunity,
Yeah, you guys are in Tampa, you mentioned. Were you guys at our event last year?
I did not. I forgot what happened.
That's the city we were in.
Yeah. I bought the online course, not the course, but the video, what they used. It was like $100, I believe, but it's like a replay of the whole event.
Yeah, you bought the videos. Right.
Yeah. So we for some reason we couldn't make it during that time. I think we had like some family member coming over or something during that time, and we couldn't. I mean, we love to go there, and we plan on going there, but at the last minute, when COVID, after COVID, and after you announced it, we already had planned.
That's fine. It'd been way more convenient. This year, you're gonna have to drive all the way up to Louisville or fly. You gonna come?
Definitely. I'm with.
It's in August.
The baby,
August 12th through 14th.
Yeah, the baby coming out in August.
Oh, that might make it tricky, right? I wasn't thinking of that. Well,
Yeah.
certainly that
It's
is a
always
priority.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
do in
always something
August.
when we plan. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might make it
I
tricky.
remember. Yeah. So, maybe it's just me gonna come down there or what, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Well,
interesting. But
don't want to cause any family drama, man. You want to be there for that, of course. But if the date is late enough in August, man, that'd be great to have you there if you can make it, or
Yep.
just get the live stream. You can kind of join us virtually if need be.
Yeah.
But love to have
Yeah.
you at the event. That's the Proven
There's
Conference. For those who don't
yeah.
know, theprovenconference.com. But it's been great hanging out with you, John. Anything else? We can. There we go. I was wondering where Oliver went. Maybe he has a tip for us before we wrap up.
Yeah, he, like I said before, bring your kids. Don't make an excuse. Just bring your kids. They're gonna find you a lot of replanable products because
That
a
is
lot
a
of
great
stuff
tip.
that you don't see at his eye level. You know what I mean? You don't bend down and you look. He's gonna see all of that, and then every time I go somewhere, he always, hey, this is for Amazon. Dad, check it. 9 or 10 times it's replanable products.
Because you're buying the same products over and over again. Your kids can recognize, like, hey, we sell that, right? And my kids have done the same thing. We go to the store and they're like, hey, we sell those, right? Like, we actually don't sell that anymore. But I mean, they remember.
Yep, they remember more than us.
Absolutely.
I don't know how, but
their ability to pattern recognize and things. Yeah, take your kids with you. Great tip, man.
Yeah.
They work for free too.
Yeah, exactly, right?
All right. Well, hey, it's been great hanging out with you, John. I really appreciate it, man. But so as I wrap this one up, I'll talk to the listeners for a minute here as we start to land this plane. But this has been my friend John Huang. Did I say it correctly?
Yes.
Huang. Yes, it's been great hanging out with you today. And for all the listeners who hung out with us today, it was our pleasure to spend some time, hopefully, giving you some tips and strategies and techniques that can encourage you. This is a legitimate business opportunity. If you want to hear hundreds more stories like this, that's what our podcast is, silentjim.com. On that same page, you will find a link to our free Facebook group as well. We referenced it earlier on. That's the big free Facebook group. We got about 70,000 people in there. John was a member of that. And then he stepped into the smaller, somewhat quieter, somewhat more specialized REPLENS seller Facebook group. And the Amazon REPLENS model is what we teach around here to 99% of our new students. If you listen to this podcast episode 50 times and hear 50 success stories, 49 of them are going to be just like what John talked about today, the Amazon REPLENS system. We're so excited about it. We're very excited about the future of it. And it was my pleasure getting to hang out a little bit today with John and Oliver. Thanks again for being on the show, John. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and always push forward.
Amen. That's right, buddy. It's good hanging out with you. And it was a pleasure. It truly was a pleasure meeting Oliver too. I love the way you integrate life and family and you're bringing them up right, buddy. So keep up the good work. But to all the business building warriors out there who are listening, it was great hanging out with you today. We'll have another great episode for you again real soon. Hey, thanks for listening today. One last thing before we wrap up, a quick reminder. Now that this episode is over, get over to theprovenconference.com and get your tickets for the event coming up August 12th through 14th, 2022. Your fellow listeners to this show are going to be there. Successful students that you've heard interviewed on this podcast, they're going to be there. Over 60 coaches from our team, they're going to be there. This is an incredible event. You cannot afford to miss it. It's an incredible investment in the future success of not just your business, but those vital relationships that you need. We talk about all the time. This will propel your life and your business forward. You're going to benefit tremendously from this. Do not miss this opportunity. We've done it multiple times in the past. Over 98% of all attendees say, yes, I'm coming back. The event gets bigger and better every single time. Theprovenconference.com. There's a link in the show notes. We want you to be there. Do not miss this. We'll see you there. Talk to you next time.